Your host, Rizval.
Foxy Yoga on the intro.
Fallion Yan, ballistic baking, big tech.
Dragonate in the box, doing things.
EZ is checking in from somewhere.
Chattergasso.
Hidden Forces is a robot.
Find jokes done under Frankie's bar. Whip, 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 whip.
Fabiano and Patrizia.
Rat-a-tat-tats. Get in line, it's Paradox. Where is show? What even is this intro? Whip, 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 whip.
Yeah, Hidden Forces, you actually got to shout out the last couple of weeks, but like sometimes the AI is unintelligible. So, good. All right, good robot. What's up, everybody? It's your host, Rizzle, and we're doing like a million new things all at once. And in the spirit of the web, I was just talking with Trizlet earlier, and we got a new guest book process that we're going to put in place this week. That's going to make things easier for us and easier for you. And we're pretty sure it's going to work, but we're just going to YOLO it into place like we're doing with a lot of stuff right now. So we got a lot of things. Let's see. We are in our new spot in Hyperfy right now because they stopped their V1. And so now we're in V2 and here we are. And it's not totally complete. And things might break, and the streaming in world might not work completely. We got a bunch of Ocular Delusion, the art that Ocular Delusion wants to talk about up there, but not all of it because we're all sort of just like learning this new builder, including myself. And so this is the WIP. You just gotta bear with us. Oh, it seems to think the event isn't live. All right, so exactly. So we'll put the guesses thing in motion, Trizlet. Don't worry. And maybe by the end of the event, it'll work. And maybe if we break it, we'll go the backup route. We still have the backup guest list. Thanks to Show, who is, again, where is Show? Let's see. We got two awesome guests here today. So kick back. We got two incredible legends in Web3, Ocular Delusion and 0xQuan, both who have incredible projects that they want to talk to you about, PoselabStudios and ArtRescueLabs. And we're gonna let it breathe because this is important stuff to the kind of stuff that we do. So we're going to give them a chance to talk about what they're cooking on, and I think y'all are gonna really enjoy what both of them have to say. So let's see. This is gonna be the new guest book process, and you're only gonna have to do this once. You're gonna go to tokensmart.co. That is Trizlet's website. That's the OG TokenSmart website. The community's been around forever. You should know them. And you're gonna sign up for a TokenSmart account if you don't have one, and then in theory, if we can get this shit working, Trizlet, no, I'm just kidding. Trizlet and I have been fucking with this all week. Then you'll go to the WIPmeetup.com, which has come along very nicely. I've been vibe coding the shit out of it. We got the newsletter coming out of there that some of y'all saw. This the 0xQuan and Ocular Delusion are on the Genesis newsletter, driven by whatever the fuck I made. Anyway, I digress. So anyway, then eventually you just go to the WIPmeetup.com, you hit sign in, you hit login for the, fuck, Siri, go away. Can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Siri, go away.
Yes.
Oh my God. This is what I do. All I do all day is just argue with robots, and then sometimes they just come out of left field and want to tell me things anyway. So you can dance. There's a icon in the bottom left corner that's like a little wiggly guy emoji, and you click on that and it'll give you some options to dance. If you're in our new spot, there's Toxam's Avatar Studio. You got to go find that. You can become a mushroom or a couple other things. Ballistic Banana managed to import his own avatar. I don't even know how to do that yet. But we're figuring things out as we go. So anyway, you'll eventually just go to the WIPmeetup.com. You'll hit sign in. You'll hit check in for the event. Your ETH address and everything will already be stored in there, and then you're just done. You sign the guest book in 2 clicks, and it's easy for us to keep track of everything and get y'all the gifts from Fabiano and Patrizia. and the WIP coin that you'll be getting every week for coming through. So sign up at tokensmart.co for a profile. You have plenty of time to do this, like the entire event, and it'll go on after the event too, as we work on this. And if it doesn't work this week, it'll be in place by next week, because, you know, if there's one thing I've learned, these APIs are a pain in the ass. They don't always talk to each other. Anyway, shout out Fox Yoga for holding down the pre-whip. Shout out Dragonade, Valiant, Ballistic Banana, everyone on the back end for doing all the tech stuff that got us this far. Juxon streaming into Frankie's Tavern, I believe, in Decentraland. And we are just building out in public. If you want to come through, we're meeting right here in the Voice channel, 10:30 a.m. on Tuesdays, and talking about y'all and how to make this thing better. And I think we're on a good trajectory. We got a website, we got a newsletter automated, we got a new guest book process, collaboration with TokenSmart, a brand new parcel. It looks like something is up in the parcel, the logo from YouTube or something. So if you see that above the banner, I don't know, maybe click on that or something. You know, some stuff's not going to work. So anyway, that is my ramble for this week. Appreciate everyone coming through. Hop into the parcel. I'll drop the link for that one more time. And if you have a question for any of today's speakers, drop them into the general channel here at Discord. Tag myself or Easy in Crypto, and we'll relay them to the speakers when they're done talking about what they're talking about. And I think that's everything. If you're hearing weird feedback, mute Hyperfy. If you can't see screen shares in Hyperfy, watch them in Discord. This is why we always use Discord as a backup, because all the rest of the stuff we tinker around with breaks. So anyway, I'm going to pass the mic over to Ocular Delusion, and she is going to tell you about something that I think, honestly, everyone here has been around here long enough to really have an appreciation for. So shout out Stina for putting this on my radar, who I know is in the audience too. So Ocular Delusion, if you want to unmute and tell everybody about what you've been working on, that would be amazing.
Okay, hi everybody. It's amazing to be here and to see so many people. I hope you can hear me okay. If not, ping me, I guess.
Yep, audio is great.
Okay, great. Yeah, hi, hello from England. I'm Karen, otherwise known as Ocular Delusion. And I am here to talk about Digital Rescue Lab, which some of you may have become aware of in the last few weeks. So basically, what we're trying to do is rescue NFT artworks from platforms that are going under. So I'll just kind of tell you the story of how this all began. So obviously, a couple of years ago, when some of our home NFT platforms began to go under, it really kind of like knocked the stuffing out of a lot of us artists, like Async and Known Origin and so on. And especially for me personally, Async wasn't just a marketplace. It was like a home base and a place where we could make a particular kind of like innovative artwork using all of the coding tools that Async was giving us, and a place of experimentation. And so when that infrastructure began to disappear, all of a sudden the artworks that we had poured all of our creativity into just like stopped, just disappeared. And so I think that knocked the stuffing out of a lot of us. And so for me personally, one of the ones that was really hurt was the disappearance of the Woka Arcana Crypto Tarot. If you don't remember what that is, it was like at the beginning of sometime in 2020, 22, during the COVID lockdown, 22 artists from Women of Crypto Art made a Major Arcana Tarot card, and Async coded it for us into, I think, the blockchain's first functioning tarot deck. And that disappeared, and collaborative artworks I made with Stina and our fellow artists in the 105 Collective disappeared. So I don't know about everybody else, but I kind of felt bamboozled, because one of the original promises of blockchain art was that supposedly it was going to be quote unquote permanent. And so, you know, I think we could be forgiven as early artists for not fully knowing what we were getting ourselves into, frantically minting on various platforms in the early days, believing in that promise. But as we all know, it's all been a crazy, wild experiment, and we all have been finding out the hard way that blockchain does preserve the token, but not the infrastructure that the artwork depends on to appear, such as the media files, metadata, and interfaces that all need to be in place and interconnected. So that was the problem. So last November, I've been thinking about how can we pay for a developer to come back and reconstruct, bring back some of our async artworks especially. And last November, Giselle Flores, one of the artists on the Tarot, told me that she had commissioned Bard Ianson, another of our artists who's also in here with us. Stina and Bard are both in here with us, by the way, to restore the Arcana Crypto Tarot. And I just couldn't believe it. You know, when I saw that, I was absolutely thrilled. But more importantly, it was evidence that this could be done, and someone, Bard, specifically had the skill and the will to do it. So the fact that he not only has the technical skill, but is also an artist is perfect, because he is as invested, more invested than any developer would be. And so the second part of the story is that at the same time, I had been working in upstate New York at a traditional art conservation center, a nonprofit. And so during the course of that work, I was thinking about the work of preserving cultural heritage and all the frameworks that you need to do that, which is pretty complicated. But it made me realize something important, which is that crypto art is a part of art history, even though it's wild and crazy and very recent and brief compared to art history. But our artworks and the movement that we all belong to deserves conservation, it deserves archiving, and it deserves cultural preservation, just like paintings and sculptures and books, and like, you know, any other form of art history. So when you look at other ecosystems like, you know, museums, you know, like for traditional art, we have conservation labs, like the one I was working in. We have museums, we have archives, books have libraries, and film has institutes and everything. But in crypto art, we had the systems for minting and trading and exhibiting, and we have historians and archivists, and we do have the Museum of Crypto Art. But what we've not had is a coordinated effort focused on preserving the artworks themselves. So that's the story of where this was born. So I talked to the people around me, basically my most trusted crew that I've been working with over the years. And of course, Bard first, because he is the person who is doing the actual technical work. And so Bard is the technologist who proved that it's possible, and he restored the Tarot, and now he's also rebuilt the async version 1 and 2 infrastructures so that you can now see the artworks again, and you can engage with the layers again. So if you own an async layer, for example, you can go ahead and change it. And he'll tell you more about that in a minute. Lou is who I know from previously from our days with Dada, is a crypto art historian and archivist, and she's been documenting the early ecosystem of crypto art for years. She's working on cataloging the async tokens, the metadata layers, and all the media so that we actually know what exists and what's missing. And she's also building a prototype physical device that we hope will put decentralized storage in everyone's hands in a simple and inexpensive way. But that's something that we're going to have to talk about at a different time, because that's really early days. Lenara Vero brings experience with Web3 governance and funding models, and she's helping us think about sustainable and participatory ways that you all, the community, can support preservation, because we believe that this is a community responsibility for stewardship, not just one group of people. And of course, Stina, who is in here as well, who we all know very well, is helping us to create the visual language and the communication around the project. And she's also offering her expertise as a longtime artist in the space. And so, yeah, I think I will, I'll hand over to Bard to talk about some of what's been done so far. And, you know, we can also talk a little bit about where we're going next. And then after that, I'll talk to you about the our funding and stuff like that. Bart, are you there?
Yeah, this is Bart. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Just try to be quick. Just some technical background type things. So, just working on. Initially, the site was broken completely, and so part of the restoration was just getting it up and running again, which involved getting newer libraries for the wallet management part of the system, and then kind of just fixing some old libraries just to get it up and working again. And what breaks with these things, especially async, is like the automation and the pieces that are automated by time or by the price of blockchain, things of Bitcoin. things like that. That's one level of breakage. Another one is just being able to see it and interact with it. So overall, I've restored a lot of the site just by fixing basic pieces. What remains broken are individual specific pieces are broken, like layers are missing or they don't render correctly. And then there's pieces where layers have disappeared from IPFS, which causes them potentially to disappear from the interface. Those are the types of things that can break and what we're working on fixing. There's additional, what I mean by version 1 and 2 is the classic form of async. There was a version 1 contract and a version 2 contract, and so I've been concentrating on those. Async music is a whole nother level that we haven't gotten to yet, so that's a potential on the roadmap to work on. And then after that, it's like blueprints and the First Supper, or the Last Supper. I can't remember what it was called, but the dynamic blueprints is another level.
Forever Step.
So just working through individual pieces now, trying to fix them and repair. One of the basic things that is broken is the ability to change colors. Like if you have a layer that allows you to change its hue or the color of it, that is going to be broken for a while. We have to build a whole new backend for it to render the images on the back side server, the server side, and that needs a lot of work. And that's sort of a basic outline of kind of the roadmap for what we're trying to restore.
I should also mention here that Bard created something that Async didn't have. That's a bonus, which is that you can change the layers without owning it. So there's a preview basically that you can play with the layers yourselves, even if you own it, but it doesn't work for every piece. So one would ask you to do is whether you're an async fan or you're an async artist or collector, is to go through and look at the various pieces. And if you have any issues to report, we actually have created a form. Lou has created a form where you can tell us what's going on, check through the piece, and that will feed directly into our issues spreadsheet. It will feed straight into a queue. And as and when, like obviously we're just 5 people here. Bard is working very, very hard, and so far, we don't have anybody working with him, so we don't know when we're going to get to everything, but we're just gathering as much data as we can so that we can work on it in the future as and when. And in the meantime, we're also trying to bank other information, gather as much information and data from other platforms as possible, because I think it's kind of up to us to make sure that we create, the redundancy in all of our assets. I think one of the things that we've learned through this experience is that as artists and platforms, we need to think about how are we going to preserve our artworks for the future and not rely on the platform to do it for us. And platforms should probably be thinking about, if we go down, how will the art be available in perpetuity? That's a problem that we kind of need to solve together, and that's what this is all about.
And Conlon was kind enough to redirect the website to our website, so the old async.art site URL goes straight to the new one that's been partially restored. So it's all a work in progress.
That's right. And is there anything else you want to say, Bard, apart from that? We have an overview document where you can kind of keep track of our progress. We're very, very early in this, but if you find the link in the chat or ask me for it later, you can kind of like keep up to date with what we're doing. Okay, so I will also then talk about, so Lenara was going to be here, but I don't think she can make it. Lenara has been in charge of creating our funding mechanisms. So what we've done for now is we've created a juice box, which is a platform where you can buy an NFT at various price points and various editions, and that will help support us. And you can, at some point, as these NFTs get sold, we will also probably be asking artists to donate artworks to help support us as well. So that's one thing you can do. And also, if you are in Hyperfi, if you screenshot yourself and tag us at ArtRescueLab in Twitter, we will have a raffle for one of the NFTs, and we'll gift one person one of our NFTs if you do that. So make sure you do that. Let's see, what else do I need to say? Yeah, so also just to be clear, we're just starting with async, but we do plan on doing this for other platforms and making it a broader initiative. So what we're doing right now is just kind of laying the groundwork for preservation so that it can happen throughout the ecosystem however we can. And also we're trying to reach out to platforms now to collaborate with us. So if you are with a platform and you're willing to share your archival data, then please get in touch with us. And yeah, otherwise that's pretty much it. So if you want to help, just read our overview and follow us on X, buy an NFT on Juicebox, or make a donation and help us report issues. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yo, really appreciate what y'all are doing and building. It's truly something for the community that, you know, was here in the beginning and started this all. And I really appreciate what you're saying about how this all this deserves its place in art history, because that's exactly what it is. And it's wild that it's fallen upon us to you know, preserve our own stuff, the same community. But it's an amazing thing to see it happen. I didn't see a ton of questions rolling in. I saw a ton of compliments rolling in. Shout out Conlin for at least helping to streamline the process in some capacity. Also, side note, shout out Valiant and Ballistic Banana and Dragonade for getting the streaming working in World. It looks like that's working as well. So, once again, appreciate what y'all are building. Ocular Delusion, do you mind repeating exactly what people have to do? I believe take a screenshot in Hyperfi. If you need an avatar, visit Toxam's lab in there. Take a screenshot, tag ArtRescueLabs, and they get rolled into a raffle for one of the pieces of art?
That's right.
Amazing. Yo, thank you so much for coming on. And Bard, appreciate you, man. Also another legend up in the house, and appreciate y'all's contributions to the space. Just a quick question on my end. Once you conquer async, is that I don't really, I've been learning a lot about what I don't know while LARPing as a dev recently. And so, you know, I know you mentioned trying to get the music situation figured out on async. I don't know how unwieldy of a task it is to, you know, eventually go through all of async's archive. I would imagine there's a ton of it. Can you talk a little bit about that? And also, are there plans beyond that for ArtRescueLabs?
Yeah, so what Bard has done basically is do sort of like a blanket rescue for versions 1 and 2, and that's why you're able to see it now and play with some of the layers. But we haven't gone through and fixed every single token yet, which is why I'm encouraging people to go through async, look at the different artworks, and if you're seeing issues, fill in the form. And the form is linked into our, I'll send you guys a link maybe, or maybe you can post it later. But it's called the overview, and that gives us a live report of what we're doing basically as often as I can. I'm just pasting it now, as often as I can. I can update it as often as I can, but on the right-hand side of that page, there's a list of links. And in that list of links, there is a report form so that you can report what's going on. And then the other thing is that this only covers version 1 and 2, and there's like a huge amount of work to do just to get all of those working. So there will be different levels of being fixed of each individual piece. And then the ones that were specially coded by async, like the Tarot, and the other ones that were reliant on data feeds, such as day and night or currency levels and things like that, those are a separate thing, and they also need their own individual work. So there's a lot ahead of us. As for music, we don't have any particular plans for music, but I know that Brian Brinkman has recently rescued one of his pieces, so we'll talk to him and see what's going on there. And of course, there was the dynamic blueprints. In other words, the Forever Supper that came live just before Async went under. I would love to bring those back as well. So there's so much work to do, and of course, it doesn't stop with Async. We could go on to Known Origin next. We can go on to, I mean, we know what's happening with Nifty Gateway. There's a lot of art to rescue, and you know, it's basically going to be an ongoing piece of work. So I'm hoping that the community will come together with Digital Rescue Lab, and we all together we can somehow find a way to steward our own artworks.
One thing I did on async art was add the ability again to have a gallery view and a rudimentary search feature. So it works sometimes. You can search for certain words and then like a gallery view, and there's potential of doing that for other things like a Known Origin or Maker's Place, you know, any number of sites. Although OpenSea seems to be able to index most of those. So.
And one thing we have to do is start thinking about how we have to take responsibility for our own artworks, you know, because one small organization might not be able to rescue everything. So one of the things that we have to do as an organization is educate people on how to take care of their own artworks, and how to create artworks in the future that will be safe from time, you know? Pretty much it.
Yo, amazing work. Once again, this is an audience that has had a ton of compliments for what y'all are building, and really appreciates it. We were all there, at least like 99% of us. So we all learned the hard metadata lesson together, and again, it's really nice to see us, you know, coming collectively out the other side of it. Much thanks to what y'all are building. So. Ocular Delusion, Bard, thanks y'all for coming on. Shout out Stina for once again helping out with that project, and with a little bit of everything, and everyone who's involved in that. We are going to, let me, brief segue. It seems like we got the guest list, the new guest list thingy working. So if you go to tokensmart.co, create an account, and then go to the WIPmeetup.com and sign in. It should work. And then in the future, you should only have to go to the WIPmeetup.com and hit check in. And so once again, it might all break, but I think it works. Trizla thinks it works. So new processes are being put in place, and it's kind of fun. Yeah, we know there's an error, but like also it records that you checked in. So, you know, it works, but it looks like it doesn't. It's a proper whip. I'm going to throw the mic over to 0xQuan, who's an absolute legend in the space, and building something that I think y'all are going to appreciate very much as well. And we'll let him speak for himself. So 0xQuan, if you want to unmute and tell people what you're building, I think they're going to love it.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Audio's good? Sweet. Sick. What's up, guys? Happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me on. Got a lot of beautiful fucking people in the space. Always lovely to see, like, you know, some OGs. Digital Rescue Lab, you guys are awesome. I just gotta say, you guys are super dope. I love what you guys are doing. And would love to like link up with you guys later, because I think that our paths kind of align a little bit when it comes to digital, you know, archiving and stuff like that. But anyway, my name's Quan. I am I'm like a digital native, just a random guy on the internet. But I've been in this space for a little bit. My background is in like art, music, design, and world building, stuff like that. I've built a few things, in the Metaverse, built a few things like in Web 2 that were pretty successful, and my builds, you know, my builds were pretty successful too. Hosted a few things, hosted a lot of Metaverse events. You guys may have known me from the WIP days, with Polygon Mine and Talk Sam and all them and stuff. So I've been in this space for a little bit now, and basically, I didn't have really like any direction or anything like that whenever I first caught wind of like Web3 and like what that was. I was just interested in like the technology and just like what is this space, right? And so I started hopping into different like Metaverse like areas and events and stuff, documenting those things and like really trying to understand like what is all of this, the culmination of art, digital currency, digital IP ownership, and then concepts like that were like super interesting to me. So started doing like heavy deep dives into like what it means to own your digital identity, what that looks like, both on and off chain. And so around like 2023, I got into VTubing randomly. That was not my plan, not what I wanted to do, but it found me, and I was like, okay, I love this concept of being able to like personify, a different character like online, and you actually like owning that character or owning that asset or whatever. So I was super intrigued by that. I was super enthused, and I helped a few projects, sort of along those same lines of like, let's build things that focus like around digital identity and stuff. So, like a lot of the WIP technology that had came out back then, I was a part of building some of those things. And one of those things was a reaction maker. I don't know if you guys kind of remember that, but basically you loaded up your avatar. It was this, or your NFT. If it was, connected to a 3D avatar, it would load up and it would like pose for you, and it would, take screenshots, and you would have a cool, a cool image like a wallpaper or a screensaver or something like that. And I thought that was awesome. I thought that was really, really cool, because I like the idea of, like I said, digital identity and like the different ways we can, express our digital identity, especially when it comes to our IP. Because I think IP sovereignty is really, really important, and having accessible tools to express like your IP, whether it be digital or whatever, your brand or whatever, is very, very important, especially moving forward. I think the ease of access to these tools that allow you to express are going to be, they shouldn't be pigeonholed, they shouldn't be blocked off, they shouldn't be gate kept. So fast forward to today. Like I said, I've helped a lot of companies, helped a lot of projects and stuff with their community outreach, with how they can communicate their assets across chain, across Web 2 and Web 3. And so in that line of work, I've built a number of tools that sort of encompass that vision. And one of those tools is PoselabStudios, and that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about today. So PoselabStudio is basically an all-in-one avatar creation suite. It was built for Web3 natives and people who were frequently like around their digital assets, right? Like in this space, like we really, really, really latch onto like our personas and our digital assets, from JPEGs or 3D assets or whatever it may be. If you own that NFT, if you own that IP, like, it's yours, right? Like, and you take pride in that. But one of the problems that I noticed a lot of the times was a big barrier to entry to like communities who didn't necessarily know what kind of tools they had available to them, especially when it came to 3D digital assets in particular. And so noticing that, I was like, okay, well, I see a whole collection, I see a whole project that has these 3D assets, but nobody's necessarily making any content with their avatar or whatever, either because it's too difficult for them to do it, or they just don't have the resources to do it, right? Because you get an avatar, say you get like a Clone X or a Bored Ape or a Viper or whatever avatar it may be, and say that's your first time ever owning a digital asset and you don't know what to do with it. Well, you could learn all of these different tools and aggregate all of these different resources together, stack them all up, and try to do something with that. You can like I said, learn Blender, which there's a learning curve to that, obviously, or you can outsource. And I just thought that was a huge barrier to entry. So like now nobody's really enthused, or nobody really wants to put in the effort to explore their creativity with their digital asset. And so you have so much real estate out there left to just for people who are not utilizing their assets properly, right? Like these communities could be they may be flourishing right now, but they could be going way crazier if a larger majority of their community actually knew what to do with their assets, or were well versed or whatever in their assets, right? And so I kind of sought out to like fix that, and that's what PoseLab is. So if you guys go to if you guys want, you guys can go to PoselabStudio, and I'm gonna share my screen here so you guys can kind of follow along with me. And you guys can get your avatars ready if you want to, just find whatever avatar you want. But let me go ahead and see if I can share. Yep, there we go. Awesome. So I'm sharing my screen. So if you guys don't, if you guys can't visit the website for whatever reason, it is mobile friendly, and it should be super, super easy to access. I made it that way on purpose because of exactly what I said. There's a huge barrier to entry when it comes to majority of these applications that one may use for for creativity and stuff. So let's see. Once you're here, you can just load up a random avatar. We have a repository of over 4,000 avatars. Shout out Talk Sam. We love Talk Sam. He reached out to us because, as you guys know, I was working with them for a little bit, but he reached out to us and was gracious enough to help us out and basically like I've set these up. They're always going to be here. Here's the API for it or whatever. Put it in PoseLab, and so we have basically every single avatar that he's ever created inside of PoseLab. So, you guys can pick and choose whichever avatar that you want. And once you're in there, there is a login button up at the top. And I'll explain that here in a little bit. But the tutorial basically takes you through the entire thing of what PoseLab is. You choose your mode. PoseLab's made up of 3 things. He's such a legend, bro. Such a legend. PoseLab's made up of 3 sections. There's the reaction section, there's the actual PoseLab section, and then there's the studio section. And we'll kind of go through those a little bit through this tutorial here. But the reaction section basically holds all of your different modes that are going to control the scene. So one of the things that always kind of like deterred me from creativity was the amount of like applications and different applications that I would have to go through in order to just get like a simple result. You know what I mean? Or just, get my avatar in here, pose it a certain way, get a nice background, take a picture, and, post it up or whatever. There was just a long list of things that I needed to do that I wanted to do in order to capture sort of the idea, capture the emotion of the avatar, whatever avatar I was using. And so I told myself, I was like, okay, I want all of these, I need all of these things to be in one place. And I'm sure if I'm having an issue like this, then other people are who, may be creatives, who may, have the want to create, but just don't know how, or don't really have the time to dedicate to learning the tools necessary to, create, content like this. And so in PoseLab, you have a direct link to share to your feed. And what this does is just publishes it to the website itself, but it also sends it to a Discord. So PoseLab's natively integrated with Discord. We're working on an activity for Discord, but behind PoseLab is a Discord bot that kind of tracks everything. And depending on what pictures you take or what you do, or whatever, it has certain reactions and stuff that it automates and stuff. There's no AI. It's just it's straight up bots. It's just straight up like Discord automation and stuff. But we wanted to do that to kind of add a social feature to the lab, so that it's easy for you to capture poses. It's easy for you to share. It's easy for you to, see other people's creations and like their creations and stuff like that. So we have a publish a studio feed. We have an export button, and a whole bunch of cool goodies. But anyway, the PoseLab side, which I think is the fun side, this is where you can start to sort of create different modes, create different poses, and different sequences and stuff. Not going to go through all of that today. You guys can play around with it if you want to, but there's a lot of just robust features in here that I felt were necessary, especially to newcomers, right? To new, whether you're a VRM hobbyist, whether you're, an avatar enthusiast or whatever you may be. I just wanted something that was like easy for people to enjoy, people to get into and start messing around with their avatars. And the reason why I feel like this is such an important tool for creativity, is because like we're moving into a day and age where speed of iteration is really, really important. Really, really important. With the way that content is going and like the onset of AI and just how frequent we're seeing so much like slop, and so many people wanting to be creatives, I think having a tool that helps you utilize your IP, and you're able to create content using your IP very, very quickly is a creative edge, honestly. And so as we keep moving forward into these, into this, age of speed and iteration and content and stuff like that, having a tool like PoseLab is like, at least in your arsenal, gives you a huge leg up, especially against, AI slop and stuff, which is a big reason why I made it as well, because like authenticity is so key. Authenticity is so, so important. Digital sovereignty is so, so important. The ability to, create like sovereign content is really, 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 really important. So like, I love what the blockchain's done, especially for content creators, and like just having the ability to put your work and your art and stuff like on chain, super, super important. But beyond that, we need tools that aren't so difficult to access, right? We need tools that are readily available. Anybody can access them. Anybody can, utilize the platforms. Anybody can create, right? Creativity for everybody. So that's kind of the goal. That was really the goal. And it's the tool's always going to be free to anybody who ever wants to use it. It's open source as well. So if you go up to the settings, not the settings, excuse me, guys. If you go to the about, you can go down to the bottom and there's the GitHub repo. There's also where you guys can follow us on X. And yeah, I mean, come help us build, because this is what it's about, really. Keeping everything together, right? Keeping the, you know, your digital IP, the ability to create with that digital IP and everything like unified, right? Um, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you know, a lot of people showing me the way, helping me with these different tools and stuff that did allow me to, you know, create uh, you know, from avatars to scenes and stuff like that. So we stand on the backs of giants, honestly, when it comes to a lot of the technology inside of PoseLab. Shout out M3, love those guys. Shout out Jin. I know he reached out to me, offered some help. Um, Shout out Project 89 for sure. Whole team helped me, you know, kind of build this and stuff, and helping me with the right direction and stuff like that. Um, I see a question in here. Yeah, I'll answer that here in just a second. That's so dope. See you guys posting some pictures, but yeah, so you know, that's pretty much why we built it. There's a lot of tools in here that I could go over, but I would definitely encourage you guys. Let me see what else I can share with you guys. I would definitely encourage you guys to log in to the actual app. It is in a solid state and it's very, very safe using Discord authentication. So you don't necessarily you're not necessarily added to my Discord. So you don't have to worry about any clutter. Like, I know if you're anything like me, like your Discord server list is stacked. So I didn't want anybody to have to worry about any other Discords or anything like that. It basically just you're basically just allowing my bot or the Discord bot inside of PoseLab to, you know, recognize you, start start earning points and stuff, and it'll also enable you to like post in the studio and stuff like that. So we're just trying to create a community. We're trying to build this community. PoseLab is really, you know, catered towards avatar enthusiasts, you know, people with VRMs and stuff, collections that have VRMs that, you know, may not necessarily upfront have the tools or like the resources and stuff to like help their community create and things like that. So if you're an avatar collection or if you're a part of an avatar collection, you know, show this to your community, right? Show PoseLab to your community. You know, help people start, you know, utilizing their assets. It's super, super intuitive. It's super easy to use. The huge goal, the big goal, I guess, that I have in mind, if you want to call it big, there's a lot of things bigger than this, but I would love to see PoseLab in schools, in colleges or different institutes or whatever, as an identity lab, as an actual identity lab, because personas and like education kind of go hand in hand, like learning how to be a human, the different emotions that we go through. There's a lot of tools that can be used in here that can help, you know, children learn about different expressions, different ways that they can kind of collaborate with each other, and you know, share their feelings, share their emotions and stuff, and also just as a general like VRM tool, right? There's not a lot of VRM tools that are out there right now that are as robust as PoseLab, and so we're very, 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 very happy, very, very excited for, you know, people to try it out, where we can take PoseLab, and to build with you guys. So I was gonna try a little demonstration, see if we can break some stuff, but I know I've been rambling a little bit, but we do have some cool features. There is mocap. I did see we had a question in here about the mocap, and also can you upload Blockade Labs 3D? Yeah, yes, Ballistic, yes. So you can upload backgrounds. If you guys are still watching my screen, you can upload 3D environments. So I can upload a GLB, like an entire room or whatever, and it'll snap to the location as well. So it's very, very intuitive like that. And this is all, browser based. That's another main, like point behind PoseLab as well. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Literally just open your browser, drop in your avatar, drop in your assets, and you're ready to go. So ease of access, like I said, was super, super important to me. Just, giving people the ability to, load up and go, just start creating. So you can load up GLBs, like I said. It does have different backgrounds that are custom inside it. And you can upload like custom backgrounds if you wanted to. It also has 3D environments, but you can upload, HDRs and stuff like that too. I really enjoy using PoseLab natively. So if you go and download the repo, install everything, it's super easy. The instructions are there. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot more robust, and you can tweak it out however you want. So that's another cool thing that I think about, that I think is unique about PoseLab, is the ability for anybody to make it into their own environment and stuff. So, or their own world. Here we go. Nice. So we have the environment loaded up, and then one cool thing too, another cool thing, right? Is that it automatically takes pictures, right? So as soon as you load in your avatar, it immediately starts taking pictures for you. So you instantly have content. But there is a fun tool in the PoseLab section that you can click, and it's called the sprint. And basically it just animates the avatar in a lot of different poses, gets some different angles, and takes some cool snapshots. And I mean, I know, some people may be like, okay, well, you can probably do this in this app or this or whatever, but this is completely in browser. And it's super, super quick. And that's the thing that really, really sets this apart, is that it's really, really fast, right? And it's super intuitive. The pictures come out really, really cool, and it's just fun to play with as well, right? And I really built PoseLab, one of the many reasons, right, was to give some people a space to like fall in love with their avatar, so to speak, right? Like enjoy your IP in a cool environment, wherever you want, however you want to set it up, easily, right? You don't have to hop in Blender, you don't have to hop in Unity, you don't have to download all of these huge assets. Just hop in PoseLab, drop your avatar, set up your scene, and go. So that's pretty much it. I mean, if you guys have any questions or anything, I'm gonna scroll through here. But that is pretty much it. Like I said, if you guys got any questions, let me know. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys taking the time. Let me yap a little bit up here about what I'm doing. Like I said, we are, it is open source and stuff. So if you guys want to, help build or fork the repo, totally can. Would love to see what you guys create. Please follow PoselabStudio on Twitter. We try to post some updates and stuff all the time. I go live weekly, where I try to like break stuff in the lab. So if you guys want to break stuff with me, please feel free. But yeah, Rizzle, thank you so much, man. Great time, great platform and stuff. And yeah.
Dude, appreciate what you're building. I feel like the theme of the day is OGs building things for the stuff that we already have and need better stuff for. And honestly, I feel like that's what's been lacking for so long. I mean, so many of us, especially in this area of Web3, this cross section of Web3, have like so many VRMs and GLBs and things like this to play around with that. Dude, I didn't realize until now that this was capable of all this. So I have like all the artillery, man. I need to like go in there and play around with it. Apologies to people just rolling in. The United States still changes its clocks like randomly twice a year, and it sucks for everybody. And this is the week where half our audience gets screwed. So apologies about that. We had another question come in here, Quan. Give me one sec. Ballistic Banana wanted to know something about voice changers. Yeah, are there voice changers when VTubing? Looks like Dragonate answered that. Voice mod. Do you want to speak to that?
There isn't a voice mod right now when VTubing, but you can. I mean, obviously, you can download like what is it, VoxMox. There's a bunch of like free voice things that you can utilize. I actually use my like external equipment. So like I have a couple voice changing things like on my actual soundboard that I use whenever I'm VTubing. But that is a cool idea. We didn't want to focus too much on VTubing because we just didn't want to posit it as like a VTubing tool. But again, if you guys know me, like I need everything in one, right? I need everything to be together. So I did add that feature, but where it is right now, that's pretty much where like I want it to stay. Like if I start adding different things to like the VTubing feature, then it becomes like that like a VTubing tool. But you can totally VTube in here, and it's amazing. And I can kind of show you guys that if you want to. But yeah, you just go to the PoseLab side and literally just enable live mode. It turns your camera on, registers the avatar, obviously. You can click full body or upper body. And then it also turns on the voice sync. So, which is, I think is really cool because obviously, it's tracking them out.
Quan, if you're able to show this off real quick, man, I'm sure everyone would love to see it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. So give me a second. What I'll do is I'll show you guys my actual setup because PoseLab works inside of OBS. Just because like obviously like I said, like I need everything in one. So I made it to where PoseLab can it's natively integrated in to OBS. So you just type it into like the browser, like the browser template of OBS, and as soon as you start it up, PoseLab opens up, and you can start streaming immediately. But let me see. It also has hotkeys and stuff too. It's super intuitive. One is your view, 7 is another camera view. You have a side view and stuff like that. Let's see, and then the directional pads are different things as well. So let me show you guys real quick. There we go. Yeah, we'll go to 1. Yep, default camera. So yeah, guys, just give me 1 second here. What I'll do is show this to you guys real quick. Let's see. There we go. Okay, yeah, so it's on that. Let me go into my OBS actually. And I'll show you guys that way. Yeah, because a lot of tools require you to like have a huge download. It requires a lot of like technical know-how, and like I said, like the barrier to entry is just like huge, right? And so like my whole thing was like, all right, if this wants to, if this person wants to stream, if this person wants to explore their creativity with an avatar, why does it have to be so cumbersome? in order to do that? Why does it have to be, you know, a learning curve in order for this person to just like be able to create? So yeah, so I think, you know, I think it's definitely important. I think it's definitely important that we have tools like this. But yeah, let me show you guys. So if you are a VTuber, right, like this tool is definitely for you. Um, but you can go to your OBS and basically, yeah, let me unlock that. There we go. And basically do the same thing as you would in PoseLab. Once you have your camera on, you can go to stream mode up here. And usually how I like to do it, to be honest with you, I'll take off all of these different different kind of effects or whatever. I'll take off my 3D kind of background so we can just hide that. And then I'll also take off the grid. One, there we go. There we go. And then what I like to do, especially if I'm going to VTube using this avatar, is go ahead and make the whole background transparent. And then once, what that does is obviously it takes away the entire background, but it also creates an alpha channel for your avatar. So now your avatar is, you know, in this alpha mode that you can use for, you know, OBS or whatever, what have you, which I think is really, really, really intuitive. So let me see. Let me go ahead and load up an avatar. And it doesn't usually take, it doesn't take long at all to do this stuff. It's just taking me a second because I'm like talking to you guys and doing this at the same time. So forgive me, guys. But I do want to show you guys the VTubing. Let me see. Here we go. Did we have any other questions or anything?
Dude, I had questions escaping me at the moment. I'm impressed at, like, once again, that you're giving new life to a lot of the stuff that we've been sitting on forever. I would imagine, yeah, having ToxAM as a repository has been absolutely priceless in this respect. Is this, what do you see? Two questions for you, man. I remember what I was going to ask earlier, but two questions for you. What do you see this being primarily used for when it comes to, like, people utilizing their IP? Like, is VTubing like what you see most people wanting this? And then my other question was, you're asking people to come build, man, and that I think they sort of overlap. Like, what are you hoping to see people use this most for?
Yeah, that's a great question. Really, whatever people want to use it for, that's kind of what I wanted to build, was kind of like a creator agnostic platform. So like, if you want to VTube, if you want to utilize your IP like that, go for it, right? If you want to just have some, you know, like a quick place to grab some content and post that stuff up real quick, go for it, right? So that's basically what it was about. You know, just giving people the accessibility to create whatever they want, and that goes for building as well. So like, if you're a dev and you want to, you know, build on top of PoseLab, this is, you know, since it's open source, projects can take PoseLab and natively integrate it with their Web3 projects, right? So if you're, you know, if you're a community that has a 3D, you know, collection, you know, you can natively integrate PoseLab into your project and have an entire sort of platform for your community within, you know, your project that gives your audience and gives your collectors tools that they can use immediately, you know, to start generating IP for your project, right? So it's huge when it comes to user generated content And of course, like I said, it being so easily accessible and things like that. VTubing, obviously, content creation, obviously, is like, but all of these things are limitless at this point, right? So now you've equipped your entire community and your entire following, basically, with tools that they can use to showcase their assets, which is ultimately your brand, right? Ultimately your project. So it, immediate UGC, and that just goes for, however people want to create. That's the kind of realm that you get into there. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, it does, man. No, absolutely. Is there? I mean, sure to drop the links here, man. Is there anything else? This is the part where my dog goes crazy. Is there anything else you wanted to show off to the audience? Let people know about anything? Yeah, man. Anything people want to know? Once we're done here, we will be pulling everybody in world here. Most people are dressed like mushrooms, but come hang out for a group shot. So if you're not already in our new HyperFi spot, or if you're wandering around our old HyperFi spot in the wrong time zone, wondering where we are, shout out Yolantis. I know this is a confusing week. We're doing a lot of things differently. So hop in for the group shot. I'm going to throw the mic back over to Quan. And yeah, man, let us know. Anything else you want to drop on us?
You know what? I mean, not really. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to, hang out with you guys, yap about PoseLab, and just come build with me. Use the app. It's free. It's open. If you guys have any issues with it, I'm super accessible. Like I'm right here. You guys can reach out to me on X, or you can go into the studio chat and go to the messages and directly be in touch with me, because that goes directly to my server. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, just let me know. Follow PoseLab, follow me. Appreciate you guys dropping those links in the comments, and keep creating. That's the biggest thing. Like now there's no excuse. Like if you got a bunch of avatars, you got a bunch of stuff that's just sitting collecting dust or whatever, drop them in PoseLab, start creating some content. So again, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Rizzle. Appreciate you guys, Dragon8, everybody, Foxy, for giving me the stage and giving me this time. Yeah.
Dude, hell yeah. And right, I have a bunch of stuff. Yolanda has a bunch of avatars. A lot of us do. Honestly, if anyone in here is seeing this and needs some avatars to play around with, hit me up, or hit up some of the people in the community here. A lot of us have them. It's an easy file transfer, and you can goof around with this, and it looks fun. I'm gonna mess around with it because, like I said, I've been doing this for, we're going on 7 years or something like that with the WIP. So my avatar lineup is thick. I wanna play with them. So thank you, Quan. Thank you, Ocular Delusion, for coming through with two really, really impressive projects that are great for the community. It's really refreshing to see that kind of thing. Hop in world, y'all. Turn into a mushroom. You can be naked if you want. Paradox is not in the house to take the group shot, but we got fake Paradox somewhere around here who is going to do that. And I'm going to, for anyone who came in late, I'm going to refresh your minds or lay it on you, the new guest book procedure, which is if you go to tokensmart.co and create an account, and then you go to the WIPmeetup.com, you should just be able to sign in, click check-in for the event, and then in the future you just go to the WIPmeetup.com and click check-in, and you'll have to enter your ETH address and everything. But once you go through this process once, you should be able to just log in through the WIP website, check in, and then the guest book is signed, and we can send you your Fabiano and Patrizia NFTs and your WIP coin and everything. So we're getting there. We're going to get in world, and we're going to take a big stupid group shot and cap this event. So thank you, everybody, for coming through and hopping world. We're going to roll the Paradox theme song, give people a chance to get in, and do the thing. Trizlet says you can just go to the WIPmeetup.com and log in and create an account. I vibe coded that shit. Dragonate's supposed to
Two
be playing the
things are
song right now,
broken.
so-
Yeah, give me a second. All right. I don't know why this shit always
Anyway.
happens.
Anyway, I vibe coded that shit and it works. I'm pretty proud of myself. You should check out the newsletter section. You should check out the episode section. You should get some WIP merch.
Just
It
a
works.
humble cameraman looking for a tiny bit of attention. It's me, Paradox. Get your asses in line and smile for the fucking camera. No one cares about Matthew and Rizzle, that's for sure. It's about me, Paradox. I'm taking over the show.
Then Teo's slacking on his fake Paradox responsibilities. We might need a new one. It's probably good. We got some good group shots. Honestly, someone is supposed to like. We're sort of violating protocol here, but we're doing so many new things lately that maybe it's just time for a new protocol or something. But Paradox will be in the house. He sends his regards. He's out there somewhere in the real world doing real things and regrets that very much. So shout out Paradox, doing real stuff. And thanks everybody for taking some group shots and coming through today. Again, if you missed it, sign the guest book by going to tokensmart.co, go to the WIPmeetup.com, sign in. Apparently you can just go to the WIPmeetup.com. I was just saying that, but I'm trying to multitask here. We got something awesome coming up next week. We're gonna do a very strange choreographed dance thing that's like that the creator of Substrata wants a whole group of people to try out. So I was like, we're your people. And so we're going to do that. We got Jimmy from Tree Gens coming through, who I met out in East Denver. I know Easy knows him and has been hanging out with him or spent some time with him. So come through next week. We got another great event. Make sure you take a screenshot and tag Art Rescue Lab on Twitter so that you can get into that raffle for a piece of art from a bunch of legends. So once again, thanks everyone for coming through, and I will catch y'all next week. Thanks, y'all.
One, two, three, four. Mashed potatoes, I want chicken, cheese. Fuck yes. Oh cheese, oh cheese, oh cheese, oh. This is awesome, 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 Sweet dreams are made of cheese. Pizza's good too. I like where this is going, yeah. Fuck yes, cheese. Kill all the audio problems with fire, with fire, with fire. Death to audio problems. Lactose intolerant people, I am so sorry. Give me that cheddar. I got carried away. We all love a good meme explorer song. Cheddar, cheddar, blue cheese. Better Way says cheese emoji. Randolph has cheese. Meme explorers with extra cheese. Death to audio. Death to audio problems. Death to audio. Audio problems. Cheddar, cheddar, won't go out for days. Cheese is like fuck yes, oh, death to audio, audio problems. Death to audio problems. Death to audio, a gift of cheddar cheese. Audio problems don't deserve to live. Two emoji with the tongue sticking out. Emmentaler and Gruyere. That almost rhymes. Cheddar is money given now. Spend some of your cheddar on that, please. Rizzle says death to audio problems. Rizzle says death to audio. Oh, Rizzle says death to audio problems. Rizzle says death to audio. Lots of gifts of cheesy things, all up in the Discord of meme explorers. Oh, lots of gifts of cheesy things, captive heart eyes, clap, clap, clap. Cheese steak, cookies, hi, cheese is the best. Gifts of cats with cheese on their faces, death, death, death. The only thing we love more than cheese is gifts. The only thing is fondue. Rizzle says death to audio problems. Rizzle says death. Milk, cheese is live. Audio problems, cheese is live. Oh, yeah. Yay, the little kitten says LOL, and Elmo's on fire, and Ernie's got condoms on his ears, so fire, so fire. Death to audio, death to audio, LMA, give me cheese, oh give me death to audio, death to audio. Vibe check, death to high ping. I want some lemonade, make cheese great again. Condoms on the ears, that's what it looked like to me. Oh, death to audio problems, to audio, death to audio problems, to audio. I'm vibing, make cheese lemonade. When life gives you rotten cheese, you make cheese lemonade. So much cheese and some sriracha, some cheese and some sriracha. Me vibing big time when Rizzle coins. You make nachos, you make nachos. Love the song so dope. Stuff that cheese in your face. Stuff that cheese in your face with jalapeno. With jalapeno. In your face, cheese whiz. Pickles, yes, cheese whiz. In your face, I said down to audio, oh, down to audio, oh, down to audio, next to audio, yeah, that's it. Oh my lord. Whew. I have to turn on the fan.